time the creator of the universe is establishing his kingdom on this earth that shall never be destroyed. Welcome where you learn that Hebrew is your history, Hebrew is your culture, and Hebrew is your language. You learn that your nationality is Hebrew Israelite. Our common last name is Israel. All so-called black people of America, your name was Israel before you were put into slavery in this country. All of North Africa belongs to us through our patriarchal father Abraham, given to us through him by our Father, Yahweh, who created the heavens and the earth. Tiny part of it is called Israel today. There's no peace in the Middle East or on the planet Earth until we are restored as the nation of Yahweh. Welcome to Feast of Tabernacles. Let us turn to Psalms 25. Psalms chapter 25, verse 14. Psalms chapter 25, verse 14. Let us read.
The secret of the Lord Yahweh is with them that fear him, and he will show them his covenant.
Praise Yahweh. Psalms chapter 29, verse 2. Read.
Give unto the Lord Yahweh the glory due unto his name. Worship the Lord Yahweh in the beauty of holiness.
Praise Yahweh. Leviticus chapter 23. Leviticus chapter 23, verse 34. Read.
Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, The 15th day of this 7th month shall be the Feast of Tabernacle for 7 days unto the Lord Yahweh.
Here is a commandment given to us to keep the Feast of Tabernacles in the 7th month. Our enemies change the time so that we cannot keep the Feast of Tabernacles without Yahweh coming to teach us the time. Where? Daniel 7, 1 through 5. 25. All right. Daniel chapter 7, verse 25. Read.
And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and the dividing of time.
So here are our enemies, the wicked ones, Satan, the opposer of God, speaking great words against God, who is most high. And the whole strategy of Satan is to wear out the saints of God, the Most High. Wear them out and change the time, the calendar. Why would he want to change the calendar and the time is clear here in Leviticus 23, verse 34, is so that you would not know when the 7th month is. The 7th month begins with the 1st month that Yahweh gave, which is the month of Abib. Deuteronomy 16 and what? 1. If you don't know that Satan, the devil, the opposer of God, changed the laws and the calendar of Yahweh, then you don't know what time it is. That makes it impossible for you to keep his commandment. Let's be logical about this thing. Deuteronomy 16:1. Read.
Observe the month of Abib, and keep the Passover unto the Lord thy God Yahweh. For in the month of Abib, the Lord thy God Yahweh brought thee forth out of Egypt by night.
Now here we have the law of Passover, another commandment, saying keep the month of Abib. So the children of Israel, who have forgotten who they are, and also called black people of America, are the children of Israel. You are Israel. You're the one that Yahweh is talking to here. And he tells you keep Passover in the month of Abib, and you never heard of Abib. You heard of January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, but you never heard about Abib. How can you keep Passover when the month of Abib no longer exists in your mind? God said keep it in the month of Abib. So what's the profound question? When is the month of Abib? Because if I don't know when the month of Abib is, I can't do what he told me to do, when he ordered me to do it. Now you can understand why Satan, who hates God, changed the law and the time of God, so that the children of God can't keep his word, can't keep his commandment, can't keep his law, can't keep his requirement, can't keep his statutes, can't keep his judgments. Because your enemy knows when you don't keep the law of your Father Yahweh, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to be suffering. Your house will be in disarray. Your family will be destroyed. Your neighborhood and communities will be racked with destruction and evil. You will be full of plagues. You'll lose your children. You'll have no control over them. They'll grow up and tell you they'll do what they want to do. All because Satan, our enemy, changed the time and the season. He has us believing January is the first month of the year. Now, it may be the first month of his year, but it's not the first month of the year for God. Who you going to go with? You going to go with the Creator, his month, or are you going to go with his enemy's month? The enemy of Yahweh, God's month, is January. That's his month. The devil's month is January. And then he has you celebrating the first day of January as Happy New Year. Oh, we have to think about these things. We have to be logical about this thing. Here you are saying, Happy New Year, and you don't know what time it is. Why do you say Happy New Year in the first place? Why did you say that? Why do you do it? It's really because you don't know any better. Somebody taught you that. The same people that put you in slavery taught you Happy New Year. And the same people that put you in slavery didn't teach you the month of Abib. Because Yahweh said, keep this law forever. So don't tell me nothing about nobody changed, had authority to change it. He said, keep this forever. Even the man 1900 years ago kept Passover. You certainly are not excused from keeping it. You can't claim the man 1900 years ago got rid of it. No, he kept it. We're going to see tonight he kept it. So since he kept it, how are you going to turn around and say, because you're a Christian, you don't keep it? The man you claim to follow kept it. If you follow him, you got to keep it. Let's be logical about this thing. Praise God. He kept it up until his last dinner. His last supper was spent. The last supper was Passover. He didn't call it Last Supper. The book said Passover. So how are you not going to keep it when he kept it? Come on now. Let's be reasonable about this thing. He kept it in its due season and at the right time. And now here you come hollering Happy New Year, and he wouldn't know what you're talking about. Woo, it's hot in here. It had nothing to do with air conditioning. Acts what? Matthew 26, 17. Let's take a peek at that. I got to keep a lot of fingers busy here. Go on and take a peek at it. Matthew 26, 17. Well, I want to see you escape this one. Oh yeah, you can't tell me you love the man 1900 years ago and don't follow him. You say you follow him. Follow the footsteps of Christ. Well, read.
Now the first day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, the disciples came to Yahweh ben Yahweh, saying unto him, Where wilt thou that we prepare for thee to eat the Passover?
Oh, he ate it. Passover. In Deuteronomy 16:1 says it's in the month of Abib, and it said he kept it on the first day. They came to him on the first day. That means they knew when the first day was. Didn't say they came to him in January 1 or something. It said first day. They know when the first day was. Do you know? See, without me, do you know? Where you taught, you hollered Happy New Year, and that's not the first day. You can't follow the man 1900 years ago. That's a short time ago. Not to think about following what Moses laid down. You can't even follow the man you claim you know and don't know nothing about him. You don't know nothing. You didn't know he kept Passover. If you did know it, you'd be keeping it. Ooh, it's hot in here. It keeps getting hot in here. Now, here in Leviticus 23, 34, I'm required to speak unto the children of Israel. Why? Because the children of Israel have forgotten. Otherwise, I wouldn't have to speak to you. Speak to the children of Israel, saying, the 15th day of this 7th month. Why do I have to tell the children of Israel the date and the month. Obviously, it's been changed and Israel doesn't know anymore. That makes you a breaker of the law. That makes you a transgressor of the law. That means you're in trouble. See, let's go to Deuteronomy 28 and see what happens when you break the law. Deuteronomy 28, verse 15. Read.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God Yahweh, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
You'll be cursed in the city, cursed on your farm. Your grocery basket will be cursed. Your store will be cursed if you own one. The fruit of your body, your children will be cursed. Your land will be cursed. Your cattle will be cursed. Your sheep will be cursed. Any kind of flock you have, you used to have flock, won't have any. You'll be cursed coming into the world, and they'll curse you going out. People will curse you in your casket. And then it's about 30 or 40 more verses of curses that you're under because you're not keeping this. Back to Leviticus 23:34. So now the question is, when is the seventh month? Since your God told you to keep it, you have to learn when is it in order to keep it. You can't keep it when you want to. You have to keep it when he said keep it. That's the way you obey God, is do what he tells you when he tells you to do it. And that's the way it works. But the enemy, your enemy, changed the calendar. Yahweh gave you solar time. Your enemy put you on the moon. That's right. They call it moon time, lunar time. Now those are two entirely different times. Two entirely different symbols, two entirely different substances, two entirely different reactions, actions, and character, composition, makeup, influence are different. So you can't say, well, what difference does it make whether it's a Bill or January? The difference is you obey your God or you disobey him. And it's no excuse because you don't know. See, when you don't know, you curse. Everything you do is a curse. Yeah, that's right. Luke what? 12. Luke 12. Yeah, it's really true. No excuse for not knowing. Luke chapter 12, verse 47 and 48. Read.
And that servant which knew his Lord's will, and prepared not himself, neither did according to his will, shall be beaten with many stripes. But he that knew not, and did commit things worthy of stripes, shall be beaten with few stripes. For unto whomsoever much is given, of him shall be much required. And to whom men have committed much, of him they will ask the more.
Knowing the law, not keeping it, you get a severe beating. Not knowing the law, and thereby not keeping the law, you get a good beating. Common denominator is you get a beating. If you knew the month of Abib, if you know the month of Abib and do not keep the law, you'll be beaten severely. Long time. But the fact that you are now born in America, up from slaves, and weren't allowed to read for 300 years, and they were able to change everything in the books, so that now that you're born on the earth, you don't know what time it is or how to find out what time it is. Therefore, you can't keep the law of your father. So he's going to beat your behind really good. And that's what's happening to black people in America right now. And I don't have to draw the long picture of how much suffering our people are going through in America. You are really aware of how dangerous and how dirty and filthy it is where we live. And it's all because we don't know what time it is. And the only way you can know what time it is through Yahweh. And not knowing Yahweh does not excuse you. How do you act now that you found out about Yahweh? What are you doing about it? Now that you're hearing about Yahweh, what are you doing about it? Are you studying to find out? Do you go get your encyclopedia and your dictionaries and look up this name and find out? Do you research and find out whether or not this name belongs to you? Have you ever sought to find out if you're Israel, the children of God? You say you're a child of God. How many heard our parents and grandparents say that they're a child of God? You heard it? Well, don't you know what a child of God is? A child of God is a child of Israel. Only Israel are the children of God. So what was your grandmother trying to tell you? That you're Hebrew Israelites, the children of Israel, the children of God. Gentiles and other nations are not the children of God. It said they can only be saved through Israel. They can only be spiritual children. They're not the real children. They can only become children through adoption. You should have learned that in the New Testament. The New Testament is all about Gentiles trying to be saved. What? If you didn't learn that in church, you really, I don't know what you went in there for. I guess it was to hear the choir. Maybe it was to hear the preacher. You like that. Maybe that was it. Maybe you went because your mama took you and your grandma took you. Maybe you went to church because after they quit taking you, they made you go. Maybe that's why you went. And you couldn't wait to take a part of the money they gave you for offering. You were glad when they quit taking you, because you had to put the money in the plate when they took you. Now you know what you did with that offering when they quit taking it. You stopped at the local store. How many did it? Look around. Yes, we did it. preacher won't get this jack. Whatever the Lord get today, the preacher going to give it to him, because I sure am not. I'm going to the store. Walk up there and put a penny in the plate and kept 9 cents for yourself. Make sure you got change before you went in church. How many got change? Yeah. Mama gave you a quarter, you got change. Put a penny in and kept 24. Yes, you did. Put your hand deep in the pot like you really gave something. Well, I'm proving my case real well tonight. See, month of Abib begins in the month of March. Near the end of March at that. On a very specific day. And it's been that way for 5,900